All right. We love message boards. We love it because they give us great topics. And recently scrolling, I'm seeing this from an Alabama fan. The Florida State game, season opener. The Florida State game is a trap game. Alabama needs to be ready. The Florida State game is a trap game. Alabama could step into a trap. And, all right, this immediately sent my brain buzzing because my first thought is, hello, you cannot have a trap game to open the year. It's just not possible. It's not a thing. By definition, a trap game is never the season opener. You can never have it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the worst team in the world and you've got a great team in week number 2. It doesn't matter. The season opener is not a trap game, period. That's the first part of my take. The next part, what this comment sent me is, okay, well, Florida State is not a trap game because it's the first game of the year, and it cannot be a trap game. Maybe if ULM was the first game of the year and Alabama was going to Florida State the next week, even the ULM game would not be a trap game. Maybe if it was ULM, Florida State, Wisconsin, ULM, Florida State, Georgia, maybe that Florida State game could be considered. But the season opener, by default, cannot be a trap game. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there a trap game on this Alabama schedule?
Well, without even knowing off the top of my head, I'm going to say week after Georgia. You can pencil it in as a trap game.
The week after Georgia. All right. You're a smart fan, Theo. I think that's a smart place to start.
Which I'm curious, who are we playing?
But I'll tell you why it's not a trap game. Because the week after Georgia, the mighty Vanderbilt Commodores come into Tuscaloosa. And you better believe these Alabama players and coaches are sick and tired of seeing gold and black and white and highlights and Vanderbilt. You better believe that Diego Pavia is a curse word in the Malmore Athletic Facility, that Eli Stowers is curse words in that facility. So no, I'm sorry.
That is not a trap game.
It's not a trap game. I love you. Good answer. Good guess. Not a trap game. How about
any other opponent? Could have been.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. You could have played Mercer the next week, and I'd say, yep, you're right, trap game. You could have played Western Tech Carolina, and yep, trap game. But no, you bring the Vanderbilt Commodore. If you'd have brought Vandy, Tennessee, or Oklahoma in, it's not a trap
None
game.
of those.
And Vandy being the first, because look, you lose to Tennessee, you lose to Oklahoma, that stuff happens. That's you look through the record book, it's happened before, it's probably going to happen again.
Vandy.
Sorry, guys.
Like, I see Missouri on the road the week after.
Maybe.
Like, that could be.
I think that might be your only option here.
Because you're also looking ahead to Tennessee the week after. Yeah.
My take was no trap game on the schedule at all, period. We'll just walk right through it real quick. Florida State, at Florida State, home for ULM, home for Wisconsin, at Georgia, home for Vanderbilt, at Missouri, home for Tennessee, at South Carolina, home for LSU, home for Oklahoma, home for Eastern Illinois, and then on the road to the Cal College to take on the Auburn Tigers.
I think so South Carolina is getting a lot of hype right now. Exactly. People are very much on that train. So I would anticipate that, we're going to go in and that'll be a ranked matchup. If stuff kind of goes off the rails a little for South Carolina, then we might get into a situation where it's like, okay, because it's sandwiched between Tennessee and LSU. That one has potential to be a trap game if the season kind of doesn't go South Carolina's way.
Are you an EDM fan? You're young. Do you like EDM?
Not in the slightest. It's the worst kind of music.
It's not real music.
It's not real music.
You put it in a computer, it's not real music. If you're not playing an instrument, it's not real music to me. But you know what Sandstorm is?
I'm aware.
Yeah. That's the schedule is set up so nicely psychologically for Alabama.
It is.
Because, all right, you got to get up for Florida State, right? We're up for it. Baby, let's go. We're going on the road. It's hostile environment and, big time brand. You got to get up for it.
A team that has everything to prove this year.
It's great. It sets up perfect. Then you come back home and you get your kind of cupcakeier game with ULM. That's going to kind of keep your gears warm. And then Wisconsin comes in, and look, what you did last year at Wisconsin was fun. I think it becomes that times 2 at home, especially in year number 2 with a little bit different quarterback.
I mean, we're talking about it like people talk about trap games, but at the same time, I
don't think Wisconsin has the talent to actually beat you at home like Wisconsin, like Vanderbilt. You could have said, oh, Vanderbilt didn't have the talent. Well, no, they didn't, but they did. They had just enough, and they were at home. Alabama was on. I think it's going to be. Think about the teams that have beat Alabama here at home. It's been Texas that went to a college football playoff. Like, it's few and far between who beats Alabama at home. Few and far between. So, Wisconsin here in Tuscaloosa, I'm not worried about. Now, at Georgia is not a trap game. It's a losable game. But it's gonna be 8 versus 3, 3 versus 2. It's going to be 3 versus 7, something like that, somewhere in that range.
Georgia, Tennessee, and LSU and Auburn obviously will never be trap games.
You can't. I mean, just by definition of who they are, it's not good. Oh, we're getting up to play Auburn. We're getting up to play LSU, Tennessee, Georgia. You're getting up to play these teams. All right, and then as we said, you get this 28. The next week, you are back here at home against Vanderbilt, and you're going to get that shoot, you're probably too young for this too. 2016-17, you got the Vanderbilt defensive lineman. Vanderbilt goes under like 3-0, 4-0.
Alabama,
you're next. Yeah, you're gonna get that all over. Like, it's just gonna be just burned.
What did Jalen Hurts say? Like, theoretically, we are next or something. What was the quote?
I don't remember.
It was something fun. Like, theoretically, yes, we are next. And then that game ended very well.
All right, so you beat the brakes off of Vanderbilt to avenge that, and you're going on the road to Missouri. Now, Missouri, Theo, you probably haven't ever listened, but I do love me some Eli Drinkwitz.
I think he is a genius.
Oh, okay, great.
I think
great minds.
I think he's a great coach.
Great minds think alike. Now, is he a weirdo? Absolutely. But I think he's just an X's and O's genius. But your problem is, it's like, what did Missouri do? What did Missouri, do at the quarterback position past Brady Cook? I don't see it talent-wise. And then same thing. You come back home, Tuscaloosa, you're hosting Tennessee, and that game could go off the rails. But I think Tennessee's season kind of got derailed last week, 2 weeks ago, with Nico departing and them having to go out and get to Aguilar. You hear Josh Heupel say, "Oh, we don't want to call this the Nico Iamaleava situation. We want to call this the Joey Aguilar situation."
Joey Aguilar's a talented quarterback.
Oh, don't do this.
No, he is. He really impressed at App State, and he did what he could with
don't do
horrid UCLA situation.
Do not do this.
Tennessee might win the Nico Iamaleava trade.
By value, because they're not paying someone $4 million. Yes.
But I'm just saying, do not discount this guy's abilities.
All right. Well, at this point on May 5th, I will discount this guy's abilities, and I will be open to egg on my face in September.
First of all, seems like a coachable guy. Second of all, and most importantly, just look at what Josh Heupel QBs do. You know?
It's a quarterback-friendly system.
Yeah,
it sets you up.
Have to imagine that anything this guy can do will be maximized.
Then Alabama the next week. So I don't think this is a trap game, but I definitely think it's losable because South Carolina comes into Tuscaloosa last year and really made things really challenging. Their defensive front was incredibly ferocious. Now, you moved on from some of those. Tonka Hemingway's moved on. Kyle Kennard, has moved on. You've got the freshman who's back. They said they paid him $1 billion. No. The defensive man. I don't care about the wide receiver. This ain't CFP. The Evan, that's a wide receiver.
Evan Stewart's a receiver at Oregon, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I know exactly who you're talking. He's massive, this guy.
It is. Why don't we just find it? It is not Damian Clowney. It's not Justin Okoronkwo. What? End. Dylan Stewart.
Yeah.
So they bring back Dylan Stewart. He was a monster last year.
Yeah, you can't have him at number 2 on the depth chart there.
Well, that's our dad. So
Yeah,
Dylan Stewart, how many sacks did you have? He was a monster last year.
he was unreal.
Sean Alexander, freshman of the year finalist, freshman All-American, SEC defensive newcomer of the year, all that jazz. Great stuff. 6.5 sacks, 10.5 tackles for a loss, 23 total tackles, three forced fumbles. Yeah, he was a monster. So you are going to South Carolina, and again, I don't think it's a trap game, but I do think it's absolutely losable. Being a losable game doesn't make it a trap game. A trap game is something that we overlook.
Well, yeah.
That you're looking at the next opponent. And I think that South Carolina's talent and going into the Sandstorm, we're going to be like tripping the entire week.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be all week long. No, I think that, if I'm killing the board, I'm doing the old Bear Bryant tactic where that song just lives in the playbook on the play sheet at Mount Moore. Just make them sick of it, right? But it's kind of so good or good enough, and the environment is challenging enough to where you're not going to be overlooking it. That's the point.
Yeah, and we try not to overlook any. Like, you remember the story about how there were rat traps around the facility before Vanderbilt. Like, look how that ended up.
How that ended up. Yeah. Not good. Definitely fell into the trap. And okay, you're still back at, you get a week off, and then you're back at home with LSU. You're ever going to overlook LSU? No, you're not. And then next week, you're back home again with Oklahoma. You're not overlooking Oklahoma after what they did last year. So, Theo, there is no trap game on this schedule.
We have 3 straight home games in November.
4, right?
Well, then we go to
Auburn. Yeah. No, it's going to be great. There's no trap games on the schedule. After Oklahoma, just to round us out and land the plane, Eastern Illinois, sorry, guys, not a trap game because the team has to be capable of beating you to be a trap game. And then you go to Auburn, and the Iron Bowl is never going to be a trap game. Come on, be real.
Am I going to get to see some of that voodoo magic this year when I go to Jordan Hare?
Oh, my gosh. That is a subject that I absolutely hate. Not because there's no such thing. There is no such thing as Auburn Jesus, as Auburn voodoo. It drives me crazy when I hear the Alabama fan. Well, they got that voodoo going down there.
That's all I've heard about for 2 years.
Right. You know what it is? That's a weak excuse for not playing well. That's a weak excuse for not being for not taking the game. Well, that voodoo magic. That's to me drives me. There is no such thing. Now, maybe that's a take that'll get me ostracized from the Alabama fan base, but I just do not believe in it. You make your own luck. You play well. You create your own circumstances. I'm sorry. Maybe it is a black and white perspective, but to me, no such thing as, well, just voodoo happened. No, I think that's a weak excuse.
Agreed, but I think it's very fun to think of Auburn as just just casting spells.
Why? Why? Because it gives them credit. It gives them credit that they don't deserve. That to me, they don't deserve. We're going to turn our rival into some spooky mythical. Oh, sometimes they switch the switch, so they don't switch the switch on anyone else.
I mean, look.
They don't call the spells for any other game. The spells haven't led them to a national championship.
Or
an SEC championship, or an SEC West championship. Not that that's a thing anymore, but
I mean, I remember. I'm a bad example of this because every time that I've watched the Iron Bowl with any kind of rooting interest, we've won it. I've never been broken by an Alabama loss to Auburn. So I kind of view it as a little bit of a joke right now. You can say that I don't take Auburn football as seriously as I probably should. But in my time here, they've lost to New Mexico State and really done nothing of note. So I don't know. I guess I need a wake-up call, which I keep hearing is going to happen sooner rather than later.
A lot of the Alabama fans automatically go to kick six. But that doesn't even register to me. That it's the comeback. The comeback will forever haunt me. I was freezing cold. It was played on Black Friday, and I am a sophomore age. I was not enrolled in school, but I should have been a sophomore. And I was in the student section beyond inebriated. And you're up 21-0, 24-0, and Mark Ingram's running for the end zone, and I'm just mother bleeping everybody I can see. And Mark Ingram fumbles through the end zone, rolls through. And I thought, oh, no big deal. It's 24-0 at halftime. It's okay. We didn't need that other touchdown. That would have just made it ridiculous, huh? Yeah, Cam Newton comes out with that bright, shining smile and finds Lutzenkirchen how many times, and smiled right in my face and said, "Gotcha." And that was really for nothing. It was, not for Alabama's national championship. I was massive. I was fueled by, we're about to ruin this cheater. We're about to ruin this cheater season. They paid this guy. Do you know how much allegedly Cam got paid for that year?
I did not.
This is going to make you laugh. Guess. Guess. How much do you think, in my opinion, the greatest single season of college football is worth?
$100,000.
Wow. Okay, that was a better guess than I thought. 180 was the rumor at the time that Cam Newton's daddy got paid $180K. Now, verify it or not, but that was the rumor. 180. Now you think about that with Nico Iamaleava and Joey Aquila. It's insane.
Inflation
And making it above board, right? But what's that really? That Cam Newton season worth $10 million.
Remember that we used to pay recruits amounts of money that were small enough to fit into McDonald's bags,
right?
Like that,
That Cam Newton season, honestly, is worth $10 million.
Oh yeah,
because and that's a take that will get me in trouble. But to me, the greatest single season in college football for any one person, one player. Period. Look,
2020 Devontae Smith.
Better. I'm sorry. Why? Go look at the Auburn roster and tell me how many of those farm boys played in the NFL. Almost none. And Cam Newton is saying, "Oh, hop on my back, boys. We're going down the field. We're going to score." Like they were he was unstoppable. It was people want to talk about Joe Burrow in 2019. But like I'm sorry, like the talent disparity is night and day. How many pros did Joe Burrow play with on that team? Devontae Smith,
two top 5 receivers.
Exactly. And like, yeah, Joe Burrow, great year. Devontae Smith, 2020, great year. But like, you are playing with. As we close this out, let's do this here. That was 2010, right? 2010 Auburn Tigers. I want you. You're a football head. How many of these people do you know? Stats. Here we go. Let's see. 2020. They're 14-0. Their leading receiver. Receptions. Darvin Adams, their leading receiver for 960. Now Darvin played in the league for a second, didn't he? Darvin played in the league. He got to the league, didn't he? Darvin Adams. I'm pretty sure he did. He was, Carolina Panthers and Virginia for one season, right? UDFA. He was
released on September 3rd.
He was a UDFA who did not make the roster. He didn't make the roster. That's your best receiver, right? All right, so Darvin Adams is your best receiver, a UDFA who doesn't make the roster. Tyrell Zachary caught 43 passes. Who the heck? I'm sorry, Mr. Tyrell, but who are you? Zachary. Did you do anything in the league?
He doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
Exactly. Like this is the issue.
Right.
Like with freaking okay. All right. So rushing, he did have a good running back with him, did he? Yeah, Michael Dyer, who ended up transferring out, but Michael Dyer ended up transferring out after a little bit of scandal. But essentially, Cam Newton, 1,400 rushing yards, led the team in rushing, 1,400 yards, 20 touchdowns. And passing as well that year. Where's my yards? Right. Oh, that's yards per game. Passing right there. 2,800 yards with another 30 passing touchdowns. 50 touchdowns. 50 touchdowns. Seven interceptions. I don't see fumbles here, but there were not that many. To me, period. The best. And it's it feels disgusting because of course it's Auburn, but like. The best single season that I have ever seen it with my two eyes. We'll say that.
I did not realize that team was
Nobody's.
Yeah, wow.
Just a bunch of 3-star recruits. I mean, who's your best? You got Nick Fairley made it to the league. Nick Fairley on defense made it to the league, and he was nasty that year.
D Ford too, very good NFL player.
Yeah, but you're really not a whole lot of talent here. Not a whole lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. Cam Newton, to me, greatest single season in college football history.
That's a take that I have to respect a lot more now after actually seeing who he was working with, man.
It's blasphemy, but like, he was untouchable. How do we start in Cam Newton? Trap games?
Yeah, trap games, Cam back.
Oh gosh.
How the kick
right.
six doesn't even. Yeah.
Let's land the plane here.
Let's do it.
Is there a trap game on this schedule?
I think the closest thing to it is Missouri. I think it's one that when you shut a team out 40-0, and when that team loses their star receiver and their QB, pretty easy to look past them. You know, Eli Drinkwitz, we both have already talked about how we like him as a coach. I could see them making that competitive.
I think that's a good pick right there, Theo. And we're losing our camera again, so let's close out the date. You guys follow us at Bama Central on the social media machines. You follow the Bama Central YouTube channel. You find us at Joe Gaither 6, at Theo Fernandez _. We're going to be back tomorrow talking all things Alabama. Wednesday, Theo, we are going to start SEC previewing, and we're starting with Texas. If you want to leave me a voicemail talking about Texas football, that would be appreciated. We'll get your take in there, but Texas is what we're going to talk about. On Wednesday, we'll talk about Ryan Wingo. Will Arch Manning be the greatest quarterback that we've ever seen in our lives? Is Steve Sarkisian going to get fired if he doesn't win a national championship? We're going to go Texas. We'll go Oklahoma. We'll go week by week and hit these opponents. At least these SEC members. We'll start looking at some of these football teams. Gives us a little content as we go through the summer. We appreciate everybody who's watched us, who's listened to us today. Talk to you again tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither 6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.